Hello everyone. Today I will be going over list. I am Arnav Shukla, your tutor for today from PyCode. So this is chapter 9 from CBSE Class 11 Computer Science. Now what is list? Lists are basically a sequence of data type. They are an order set of values which are enclosed in square brackets. And these are mutable data types. They can be modified. And we use them and we use their index in square brackets to identify the values belonging to them. Now, we can also say that list data type is a container which holds a number of elements in a given order. So, the syntax is the variable name and then the index, and we provide the value at index plus 1. Positive values of the index is counting forward from the beginning and negative is counting backwards. And this is just the same as we discussed earlier in our earlier video of strings. If you haven't checked that out, go check that out to get a greater idea of what indexing and slicing is. So creating a list. So what we're basically doing here is that we're just printing the list here, and we basically change where you're doing indexing, and what we're doing is the position value 2, which is 0 1 2 56, gets changed to 455, right? Now the list is also able to contain string data types, and it can contain mixed data types such as strings, float, integer, etc. A list inside another list is called a nested list, and we use double subscripts to fetch the sublist in a given list. So let's say, for example, this list we use 2, so 0, 1 and 2. Note that 2 is the entire list inside it. This is 2. Now we once again start from 0, but this is only for these three numbers and only valid for this inside this list. So 0, 1. So 6 is the given number. That's how you go about it. This is also another example where, let's say, if you're printing 1, so 0 1 1 is that list, so it prints the entire list. 2 is 0 1 2 67. It prints 67 when we're doing L4 of 2. This is forward indexing 0 1 2 3, and as we see the numbers are increasing, and negative indexing, also called backward indexing. So if it's an empty list, we won't do any listing. So important points to note are, as I mentioned earlier, it's the same as string index. So any integer value can be used, and an index error occurs if we access the elements which don't exist in the list, and also they can have negative values. In this example, this is one way of copying the content of L1 to L2. What we do is we define a new list L2, take a new variable L2, and we just put the square brackets and put a colon sign. So it just copies that list. So, and if we see, it's the same as L1. And this just shows indexing that if it's from 1 to 2, 0, 1, 2, so it just prints 5 here. The second method of creating a list is the list method. So over here we uh, just write down L4 equal to list and then put an empty bracket, so that shows that it's an empty list. Here we create a list and map them to other lists. So what this basically does is it just prints the three numbers, three lists three times, and we create multiple lists using the assignment statement. Next is list concatenation. List concatenation is when A and B are two different lists, and the third list is created by combining the two lists, which are A and B. So we get a third new list, which is just containing first and second list. Next is list slicing. So we discussed list slicing is so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 6, 7 is just getting printed, 4 is not included. Now, alternative elements of a list can be copied to another list by using colon colon 2 here, and we can use colon colon 3 to give the third element. So this is how we're going to do that. So basically it just takes the step size as 2 here, and it just copies it and just gives us a new list. Now we can use append method to read through the list. So let's say we want to add an element to the end of the list. So we use the append method, and it is added to the back side or the end side of the list. Okay, so we're reading elements during the runtime. So what this basically does is we're creating an empty list. We're asking the user to enter the total number of elements in the list. Then we're printing the element of the list. Then we're taking another range, which basically, or a loop, which basically runs the amount of times the numbers that are present in the list, and we're asking the user for the element which is to be presented in the list, and then what we're doing is that we're adding that to the empty list, and then we're finally printing the list. So if you see, this is the way. So this is the actually the method. It's very important that you note this format and you understand this properly, because this is how you take an empty list and then you append numbers to it using L1 dot append the element, and that's how you create a list from an empty list. Now, what's traversing a list? So traversing a list is fetching all the elements of the list using the loop. So it's the same thing till here. Now, what this basically does is that it just prints the given elements of the list. That is called traversing, accessing each character of the list individually, separately. Now, deleting elements of the list. It is possible to delete or remove any element of the list. There are many ways of doing so. If index is known, we can use the pop or delete method. Remove can also be used, and to remove more than one element, delete with slice list slice can be used. Fourth one is the assignment operator. Pop, delete, and remove. Now let's go to this in detail. What pop basically does is it removes the specific index of the list and also returns that element. Let's say L1 dot pop 2 0 1 2, so it pops 89, so it prints 89. And then we print the new list, which is after it gets removed, it's these three. Delete removes the specific element from the list but does not return the deleted value. Now this is how it's different from the pop method. So it deletes 0, the index of 0, and it just print, and when you're printing the new list, it just prints the new list. Remove is used if we know the element to be deleted and not the index, then remove can be used. So we are just deleting the index, the value, and we are not using the index. So this is how these three are different. So if you're removing 5, so it just removes 5. Now 5 is the value, not the index. Please remember that. So it just prints 4 and 6. A few other methods: insert, sort, index. Let's go over them in detail. Insert allows us to insert the element at a specific position, and it has two arguments, which is the index value and the item value. So let's say we want the index is 2, so 0 1 2. So at this index 2 we want to insert the value 177. So the new index will be 0 1 2, and at index 2 we are inserting 177. Reverse is used to reverse the elements of the list in its place, and it does not return anything as the reverse list is stored in the same variable. So it's just reversing the entire list in the given order. Now, if you want to sort the elements in a given order, then we use a sort method. And sort modifies the list in place, and sorted returns a new sorted list. So if we sort the list, it's by default it's sorting it in ascending order. And if this is an important example, please remember this, that if we want to sort the list in descending order, we just write reverse equal to 2. You can leave this part. Now, this is sorting the list using key values or the length of the string. Clear just removes all the content of the list. An index, it tells us the given index of the list. So 0, 1, 2. So index of 93 is 2. Extend just adds it to the with another list. So let's say this is list M, this is list N. So at the so we are just adding N at the end of M. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Programs on list. Now, this try pausing the video and solving this question on your own by hiding the solution. Write a program to sum all the items of a list. So what we do is we take a list, and the sum is currently a 0. Then we access each character in the list and we add that to sum, which is 0. and over here the character is basically X. So for it could be character X, it could be anything. So for each individual character in the list, we're adding that to the sum and we're just simply returning the sum. And this is the given list. Now, to get the largest number from a given list, what we have to do is we can take the max as the first value, which is L of 0 or the list of 0. Then for each character in list, I usually prefer to call this a character. It's easier for me to visualize and understand. So for character in list, if the characters is greater than max, which is this, then the max becomes A. So basically what this does is it just checks every character. First it assigns L of 0 as max, and then it keeps reassigning the value until it finds the largest value, and then it just returns max. Write a Python program to check a list is empty or not. So we take an empty list, and if it's not L, which is basically if it's not empty list, then we print the list as empty. Now, as I have shown this question earlier, there are three ways to copy the list. One is the colon method, one is the dot copy. There are multiple methods that you can use. Now, let's write a Python program to take two lists and return true if they have one element in common. So, if for character in L1, which is this, then we check if the character is also in L2. And if both these characters are equal, then we return the result as true. So what this basically does is that it checks each character in firstly in list 1, then in list 2, and if both of them are in both lists, which is x double equal to y, it returns the result as true. The next question is the writing a Python program to generate and printing a list of first and last 5 elements where the values are squares of the numbers between 1 and 30. So what this does is it prints the values from 1 to 30. This should actually be 31, and we just have to we're just taking the square of it, so we're just adding L dot append I square because it says that they have to be squares of the numbers. Now these are good level problems. Now we have to print the numbers after removing even numbers from the list. So let's say the list is num, then we do x for x in number, and this basically it's the same as like for character in num, and if this character is not mod equal to 2, then we print that number, because x mod 2 is just telling us that if it's even or not. If it's x mod 2 not equal to 0, then that means that it's an odd number. Now these are a few homework assignments for you to try. Getting I think these problems, like this one will be quite easy for you to do. Getting the difference between two lists, you can shuffle the list and print a specified list, accessing the index, converting a list of characters into a string, and finding the index of an item in a specified list. I think you can remove 1 and 2 and you can try 3, 4, 5, 6. Third is a bit challenging problem, so try that at the end. Go over the video again if you have to and let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much. That was all for today. I hope you understood new concepts in list, and keep watching to and do visit the website PyCode, and we're regularly uploading new content and material soon. Thank you.